You're watching the News on the Hour, brought to you from the Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN. I am Zubechi Frank. You are welcome. The Standing Committee of the Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion, is a gathering where sensitive decisions concerning the church are taken. Also, matters affecting the church are brought before the committee and solutions are given. The Primate of all Nigeria, His Grace the Most Reverend Nicholas D. Oko, is the president of this committee. He also presides over the meeting. While speaking in an interview with ACNN news correspondent Nwanne Ogechukwu in Abuja, the General Secretary, Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion, the Venerable Paul Dajo, said the first edition for the year 2019 will take place at the Cathedral of St. Andrew's Anglican Church, the Diocese of Warri, Delta State, from the 4th to 8th of February 2019.
The Standing Committee of the Church of Nigeria is holding at St. Andrew's Cathedral in Warri next week between the 4th to the 8th of February 2019. The Standing Committee is made up of the Primate of the Church of Nigeria, His Grace the Most Reverend Dr. Nicholas D. Oko, the Archbishops and Bishops with their wives, the House of Clergy, and the House of Laity. In the Standing Committee, we get to brainstorm and take decisions that are bordering on the life of the church and the life of the nation. The theme has been selected.
He also threw more light on the theme of the meeting, what delegates are expected to know and do. He also prayed for the success of the meeting and for safe trips for all delegates.
The theme has been selected, which is from Psalm 23, "The Lord is my shepherd." And I think the theme is very apt for a time like this in our nation, where there is so much insecurity, where there is lack, there is shortage, and there are all kinds of things that are not going on right. It is appropriate that the church is saying, "The Lord is my shepherd," so that the church will believe, so the church will hear, so the church will be reassured that God is in heaven and that He cares, that He has concern for His people. And so I'm believing God that at the Standing Committee, when it will be done, the church will be happy, the church will rejoice because the Lord will speak. We are praying to God for journey mercies to all our fathers who will be traveling. We are praying to God for our primate who will be delivering his charge, that in all the proceeding of the Standing Committee, the name of the Lord be glorified and His church be blessed.
The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, has been criticized over the presence of Republic of Niger governors at his presidential rally in Kano. It was reported that Governors Isa Mausa of Zanda and Zakari Umar of Maradi states, both from the Republic of Niger, were in Kano State to rally support for President Muhammadu Buhari's re-election. The governors were seen wearing APC attires just as members of the APC presidential campaign team in Kano. Their presence has since stirred controversies online as some Nigerians lamented the interference of Niger in the 2019 election. Others queried Buhari's government for rejecting interference from UK and the EU, yet allowed Niger governors into the country. Here are some comments gathered from Twitter. A renowned lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Chief Wole Olanipeko, has reiterated an earlier statement that the fight against corruption should not just be a slogan, but should be a practical thing that produces results. Olanipekun, who is the chairman of the governing council of Ajay University, Oyo, made the comment while commissioning projects in the university. He was full of eulogy for the Vice-Chancellor, the Right Reverend Professor Dapo Asaju, for the high integrity and pragmatic way he has run the affairs of the university, and also repeated his call for the federal and state governments to send delegations to the university to learn practical ways of fighting corruption. Meanwhile, Emeritus Professor Ayo Banjo, who is Chairman Board of Trustees of the university and members of the University Governing Council, were on hand to commission the new office block complex of the Department of Communication and Media Studies, the University Primary and Secondary School, the new Faculty of Natural Science Extension, Faculty of Social Sciences, and 2 roads named after Professor Ayo Banjo and Chief Wole Olanipekun. At the meeting, the university also gave gifts to 3 retired bishops who had served as chairmen of proprietors, namely retired Archbishop S. Abe, Adebola Ademowo, and Michael Akinyemi, for their roles in the development of the university. The university also appreciated the first chairman of its board of trustees, Emeritus Professor Akinkunwe. The proprietors pledged to do all they can to complete the chapel they began in the university. The Vice-Chancellor appreciated them and urged them to begin the search for his successor, given that he has a little over a year to complete his tenure. But most speakers urged him to consider another 5-year tenure on account of the good work he has done in the university. The controversy trailing the endorsement of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, presidential candidate of People's Democratic Party, by Igbo highest decision-making body, Imobi ACNNTV, took another dimension as the National Executive Committee has suspended the Secretary General Uche Okuku over alleged anti-organization activities. He was suspended by ACNN over his alignment with the All Progressive Congress to factionalize the body, which is in violation of the constitution of the Pan-Igbo Socio-Cultural Organization. It was gathered that parts of the allegations leveled against the suspended Secretary General Okuku was hinged on misconduct, which includes that he organized a press conference in Nnewi, Anambra State, to contravene the position of ACNN on the endorsement of Atiku when he was part of the endorsement, making some false allegations against the leadership of the body. Going to Aba, Abia State to endorse President Buhari in the name of ACNNTV and joined APC leadership to factionalize the Igbo Apex body. ACNN stated that the action of Chief Okuku smacks of betrayal of his people, noting that he was actually in the meeting at the Nike Lake Restore where the debate on the endorsement took place, and he did not raise objection, only for him to go and aligned with desperate politicians in APC who had vowed to mortgage the future of Igbo nation for their personal gains. Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State has granted express approval to the governing boards of Kogi State Hospital's Management Board and Kogi Specialist Hospital, Lokoja, to employ more doctors. Dr. Aruna Saka, Kogi State Commissioner for Health, disclosed this in Lokoja while reacting to the exit of some doctors from the state's civil service over the past 3 years. It will be recalled that the Nigerian Medical Association had on Monday called on the governor to reverse the current internal drift of doctors and other healthcare workers in the state. The Kogi Nigerian Medical Association chairman, Dr. Kabiru Zuberi, said over 88 medical doctors had left the state public service under the current administration. The commissioner, however, said that the doctors left because they secured postgraduate training in federal government's teaching hospitals, adding that the bulk of them were those recently employed by the state. The commissioner added that the governor had also approved welfare packages for new doctors, including interest-free loan facilities to help them acclimatize when they come in. He further said that the governor had approved an arrangement for doctors in federal institutions in Kogi to also provide services in state health facilities that were understaffed. On business news, the Naira on Thursday traded flat at 360 naira 5 kobo to the dollar at the parallel market in Lagos. The pound sterling and the euro closed at 469 naira and 408 naira respectively. At the Bureau de Change segment, the naira traded at 360 naira to the dollar, while the pound sterling and the euro was sold at 469 naira and 408 naira respectively. Trading at the investors' window saw the naira closing at 363 naira 3 kobo to a dollar, while market turnover stood at $231.46 million. News Agency of Nigeria reports that the CBN had continued to inject liquidity to the market in defense of the naira. We shall now go on a short commercial break. News on the hour continues in a moment. Please stay with us.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has spelled out the voting procedures for the 2019 general elections via its verified Twitter handle, INEC Nigeria. The following are the 7 steps as stated by INEC. Step 1. Upon arrival at the polling unit, join the queue and present yourself to the INEC official at the polling unit, who will determine whether you are at the correct polling unit and check if the photograph on the permanent voter's card matches your face. If satisfied, he or she will direct you to the next INEC official. Step 2. The official will request for your PVC to confirm that your card is genuine and your details using the smart card reader. He or she will ask you to place your finger on the card reader to confirm that the PVC belongs to you. By ascertaining, the card reader will contain the name, photograph, and fingerprints of all those registered in their polling unit. Step 3. You will then meet the next official who will request for your PVC to confirm that your name and your details are in the voters register. Your name will be ticked and your PVC returned to you. He or she will then apply indelible ink to the cubicle of your appropriate finger for that election to show that you have been accredited to vote. If your name is not found on the register, you will not be allowed to vote. Step 4. The presiding officer stamps, signs, and endorses the date at the back of the ballot paper. The presiding officer will roll the ballot paper inwardly with the printed side inward and give it to you. He or she will then direct you to the voting cubicle where you will vote in secret. Step 5. You will stain your appropriate finger for the election with the ink provided. Then use your stained finger to mark the space or ballot provided on the ballot paper for your preferred candidate or party. Roll the marked ballot paper in the manner the presiding officer gave you. Step 6. Then leave the voting cubicle and drop the ballot paper in the ballot box in full view of people at the polling unit. Step 7. You will then leave the polling unit or wait, if you so choose, in an orderly and peaceful manner to walk the process up to the declaration of results. Note: the results of each polling unit shall be pasted at the unit and for everyone to see.
You are welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. For more on our top stories, please visit our website at acnntv.com or youtube.com/ACNNTV. To be up to date with our news and other programs, download the ACNN app for Android from Google Play Store. And now to foreign news. The Church Mission Society, an agency of the Anglican Mission, has appointed commercial strategist and consultant Alistair Bateman as its new Chief Executive Officer. When he begins his new position in May, Mr. Bateman will succeed Philip Stephen, the former executive leader of CMS, who stood down last year, having been selected as Bishop of Truro Mr. Bateman is currently Chief Operating Officer of Christian Social Transformation on Charity. CMS described their new CEO as a gifted strategist and said he brings a unique and proven ability for balancing strategic planning with exploration and pioneering. The Anglican Bishop of Truro in the Church of England, the Right Reverend Philip Montstephen, is to chair an official British government review into the persecution of Christians around the world. Bishop Philip, who was executive leader of the Church Mission Society prior to becoming Bishop of Truro at the end of last year, appeared alongside Britain's Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt at the Foreign and Commonwealth Office in London to launch the review. The review will explore Christian persecution across the Middle East, Africa and Asia and the British government's response to it. It will recommend a comprehensive policy framework when it reports before Easter.
Christian persecution is a global phenomenon precisely because the Christian faith is a truly global phenomenon. So Christian persecution is not limited to one context or to one challenge, and specifically it is not limited to Muslim contexts. So this independent review is not a stalking horse for the Islamophobic far right, and nor will it give the Islamophobic right a stick to beat Islam with. I want to be very clear about that. There might well be questions to be asked about how the Foreign and Commonwealth Office has addressed the issue of persecution of Christians in Muslim-majority countries, but there will certainly be questions to be asked of other contexts too, and we would be failing if we did not ask those questions.
An Indian Air Force Mirage 2000 trainer aircraft crashed in the southern Indian city of Bengaluru on Friday. Immediately after taking off, killing both pilots, the plane crashed at the edge of the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited Airport compound, which is surrounded by several office and residential buildings. The plane burst into flames immediately after the crash. One pilot died at the scene of the crash while the other was seen being carried to a nearby hospital. Both pilots ejected, with one of them landing near the wreckage. The pilots belonged to the Air Force Aircraft and Systems Testing Establishment Unit, an Air Force official said. And on sports news, chieftains of the Nigerian Football Federation, the NFF, led by Nigeria's Minister of Sports, are in London, United Kingdom, for a series of meetings with sportswear behemoth Nike that has to do with optimizing the performance of the new robust contract signed by NFF and Nike in November 2018. The meetings would also dwell on merchandising as well as previewing and authorization of a new kit designed for the national teams to be launched in the summer of the year 2020. Barrister Solomon Dalong, with President of the Nigerian Football Federation and first Vice President of CAF, Mr. Amajo Melvin Pinnick, and NFF's second Vice President, League Management Committee Chairman and member of FIFA Football Stakeholders Committee, Shehu Diko, attended the first of the meetings at the Nike UK office in London. So that's it on this edition of the News on the Hour. Many thanks for watching. I am Zubechi Frank.